I think it's super easy if you're an ambitious young guy to get so caught up in trying to get everything right and trying to do all the right things that you end up missing the point. And you end up focusing so much on all the small little things and all the ways in which you're not living up to your potential and get in a cycle of beating yourself up and then feeling sort of like guilt and shame for the things you've gotten wrong or the things you haven't done, or overthinking about where you're going and what's the best way to get there. That you lose sight of the bigger picture and you lose sight of what's genuinely important to you in your life. And that's what I want to talk about in this video, is sort of coming back to what the things are in your life that are genuinely important to you, that are actually your priorities. I wanted to talk about how amidst all of the chaos of life, all of the goals you have, all of the dreams you have, all of the ideas, how to find peace in all of that, and also how to stay grounded and stay focused on what actually matters and what's actually important. The thing about having high expectations is that they're actually hard to meet. And that's the point of high expectations. That's a good thing in a lot of ways. Is not settling for less than you could be. Because it means that you're willing to put in the hard work and to grow and to challenge yourself to achieve those things that are important to you, even if they are hard to achieve, and even if those expectations do feel like pressure sometimes and do feel really difficult to meet. And that's great. That's courage, that's ambition, that's not being willing to settle. But I think the flip side of that same coin is it can lead to a cycle that, like a cycle of overthinking and a cycle within your own head and within your soul that ultimately pulls you further and further away from where you are actually trying to go. And I guess that's the cost of caring about something and allowing things to matter to you. Because it means if you have a relationship you really care about and you feel like you're not living up to your potential within that relationship, then that's gonna really hurt. And sometimes in those moments of you not living up to your potential in that relationship, if that leads to you hurting that person who you care about, that really fucking sucks, right? If you have a goal that's really important to you, or a place you really want to get to, or something you really want to achieve, and you fall short, that hurts, right? It's not fun. So you have these things that are really, really important to you. And because they're important to you, you have really high standards for yourself, and you have really big expectations for these things. But since these things are difficult, you're naturally gonna have moments of failure, obstacles, setbacks, all of this stuff. And that's gonna leave you with a choice. It leaves you with a choice of whether you can let go and understand that you are a work in progress and that you're not perfect and that no person ever is, and acknowledge a failure or a shortcoming or an obstacle without needing to beat yourself up about it or hold on to it. Let go of that and move forward. Or you can make that other choice to sit in that guilt or that shame or that failure. And sometimes it can be really hard to make that first choice. But here's a word of encouragement for you. You're already thinking, planning, working so much harder at becoming the person you want to be than most other people your age. All right? And I think with that level of responsibility and pressure you put on yourself is gonna come a lot more difficulty and a lot more challenge. But the upside of that, not even taking into account potential like material outcomes or sort of worldly rewards of that, is that you're going to genuinely grow. You're going to have more wisdom, more maturity. You're going to be a better leader. You're going to be a better friend. You're going to know yourself, like who you are, what you care about, and where you're actually going. in your life. But to get there, you're gonna have to go through these moments where you have to make a decision to let go of the guilt and the shame and the expectations and the failure and just move forward with what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, because that's a cycle that will keep you stuck. And you also really want to be driven and motivated by the right things and pursuing the right things, because if you're motivated by insecurity or by fear, because being motivated by insecurity and fear will only ever leave you empty. Because being motivated by insecurity or fear, or driven, because being motivated by insecurity or fear, or being driven by external rewards and material things is just, or being driven by sort of external rewards, or the more like materialistic, shallow aspects of life, you're not going to find what you're looking for when you get where you want to go. So I think being driven by passion and purpose and responsibility and love for the people around you and meaning in your own life is not only going to make the journey to wherever you're going about 1,000 times more enjoyable, you'll actually like the version of you who reached the top of that mountain, instead of finding yourself in that position where you don't really recognize them. I don't know. These are just some after school thoughts on a rainy day. You can't let guilt and shame hold you back, and you can't allow yourself to hold on so tightly to things when the best move to make is just to let them go and to keep moving forward. I believe in you, bro. You're on a good journey. If you want to be part of a brotherhood of young men trying to become the best versions of themselves and pursuing the lives they want, you can join the free community we're building. There's a link to it in the description. If you resonated with this video, then subscribe, because I think you're going to like this channel. Take care, bro. Have a good one.